Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and this time we're going to take a look at my top 10 action figures for 2014. Happy New Year! I'm a few days late, but this is my first video of 2015, and I cannot believe we've already been through another year, and that I've been on YouTube for over 2 years now. I have almost 1,000 subscribers. It's unreal, and just before I get going, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who watches my videos. I really, really appreciate it. And hopefully 2015 will be another awesome year for collectors and on YouTube and everything. I'm hoping, I know I say this every year, but I'm hoping to put up some more consistent uploads and maybe try some new things. I am trying to get back into reading comics again and all that, after some time being really behind. So we'll see. But I'd like to get into my top 10. Before I start, I do want to say it's a bit of a weird mix of figures. Well, I mean, not really to me, but I feel like anybody who watches my channel is going to maybe be a little confused because I think at least maybe half of the figures that are in my top 10 I haven't reviewed on my channel. And maybe half of that half I have filmed reviews for, I just never uploaded them. Whether it was my computer problems or other figures like taking over, and newer figures that I wanted to get up reviews for. So I don't think anybody can predict my top 10, which is pretty fun. And another thing that's weird is that when I kind of, what I did is I laid out all the figures that I knew were contenders, that I bought this year. And I kind of just looked them all over and judged them based on what I thought of them now, and I mean, as much as I could remember of my first thoughts when I got them, which I know Rob went back and watched at least some of his reviews to hear himself, like, say what he thought about them. I didn't really do that. I did once or twice just to remind myself, but not really. I'm kind of just going from looking at them all now at the year's end, which ones am I most impressed with after all this time. So I don't know if that's a little different from what other people do when they make their top tens, but I think this is my first top 10, so I'm a little bit of a noob. So I hope you guys do enjoy. One other note is that these are all figures that I purchased and that are in my collection. So I did also go back and see that literally at least half of my reviews this year were of Todd's figures, which is fine. I mean, I like to be able to have more figures to review, so it's cool to be able to pull from his collection and my collection, and he buys some of the new stuff and I buy some of the new stuff, and so, but like, you might have remembered me reviewing, say, off the top of my head, DC Collectibles Earth 2, Bruce Wayne Batman. I loved that figure, and if you remember that review, you know I loved that figure, but it was Todd's, so I did not include it in this top 10. So, figures that only I have purchased and that are in my collection. So, there again, and you can probably guess it's mostly DC and Marvel figures, so I think we are ready to start. But before I get to the actual top 10, I do want to I have two sort of honorable mentions. So before I filmed this, I did ask, and I did say that I was thinking about whether I should include older figures that I purchased in 2014, but that weren't released in 2014. I did not do that. This is all figures that came out in 2014 and I bought in 2014. And I also was considering including statues. I did not as well. Obviously, as you can see, this is figures. So, before I get into them, I just want to give a little shout out to the New York Comic Con exclusive blue Kotobukiya Nightwing. So, released in October of this year. I love this. And again, I haven't uploaded the review for this, I don't think, but I did just film it recently, so you'll see it soon. I did love this piece, and I just wanted to give it a little shout out in this top 10, which is a little more than a top 10, I guess, now, but I saw Rob did the same thing in his top 10, and I was like, you stole my honorable mention! But, yeah, so maybe, sometime in the future I'll have more statues to put in these, like, top 10s and stuff, but for now, he's the only one that was released in 2014 that I have, so I did want to just give him a little mention. And the other honorable mention is sort of cheating, but I just had to put it in here because I wanted to give you guys know, if you've been watching my reviews, how much I love this line, the animated Batman line. This, I'm showing the Batman, but he symbolizes the entire line that has come out so far. This is Todd's figure. All of them are Todd's figures. I have reviewed them, and I love the line so much that I really had to include him anyway. So my second honorable mention goes to the DC Collectibles Batman Animated Series and New Adventures of Batman line, despite the fact I don't own it, but I have reviewed it. So there you have it. We are now ready to start the official top 10. So here we go. At number 10, we have the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Guardians of the Galaxy Nova. One of the figures that I have filmed but not uploaded. I really like this figure. It's the only one that I picked up from the Guardians of the Galaxy wave of Marvel Legends, but I just think it was really, really well done. It's one of the ones that Hasbro redid. I'm assuming at the request of fans, basically, you know, because there was a Nova figure in the past in the Marvel Legends toy line, but it just doesn't hold a candle to this guy. So I just love the marble, that sort of marble style, you know, plastic that they used. The helmet looks great. Like, the golds look good. It's just, the build is so much better. The armor looks cool. It's just so much better. The sculpting is so much better than the original Marvel Legends Nova. And it's one of those figures that makes me want to read the comic. And I don't know if that happens to anyone else, but, like, I saw this figure and I was like, wow, that's such a cool character design. Like, I want to see what that looks like in the books. And so that, and in combination with the Guardians of the Galaxy movie being amazing, made me really want to read some Cosmic Marvel. I haven't yet, but it is in my to-read list. So, yeah, I do really like this figure. It's basically just a Bucky Cat mold with some awesome sculpting and paintwork. So I do have the review film, so I will eventually upload it on my channel, I suppose. Although at this point I feel like some of the reviews that I filmed so long ago, some of the things I said may not make sense, where I'm talking about like things I've picked up or have plan on picking them up, but whatever, I guess I'll watch them back and see. So my number 10 figure of 2014 is the Marvel Legends Nova from the Guardians of the Galaxy wave. At number 9, we have the DC Collectibles Teen Titans New 52 Red Robin. Tim Drake right here makes it up to number 9. I did get a little hard on this guy with the scale, and I still hate that he is so tall, but you can't deny that the sculpting on this guy is awesome. His body looks slim as it should, other than the fact that he's too tall. It looks like his body type. The details on the costume all look spot on, from, you know, the 3 pads on one hand to the big one on the other, and then they put these stupid little things in, even though he got rid of them later in the book. The boots look great. They did a really good job with the cape or wings, if you want, whichever you want to call them, and how they have, you know, like the I guess jetpack. Like, I don't know what you would call that either. The fact that you can take those off if you'd prefer, you know, and just have him in his suit, maybe for a little more of a casual display, or if you're doing some kind of ACVA or something and want him to be, you know, gearing up. Even his face sculpt, it looks like it came right out of the comic. Well, the first series of Teen Titans in the New 52, that is. He doesn't look like Kenneth Rockefort's art, who's now doing it. I can't remember who did the art in the first books, but that's what it looks like. Even if I'm not super duper partial to the look, it's very accurate, so I do appreciate that. You've got the Red Robin symbol on the arm there. It's just, they did such a really nice job with this, other than the fact that he's out of scale, honestly. The only other downside is that he doesn't come with any accessories, and I'm not counting the cape, so he really should have come with a staff. You know, I mean, like, of all the accessories that one could make, that's really simple. Like, you can take a rod of, you know, a wooden dowel and paint it black or something, or just use one from another figure, but we shouldn't have to do that, so oh well. But yeah, I do really like this figure, and he was worth a spot in my top 10 for sure. So at number 9, we have Tim Drake himself, the DC Collectibles Teen Titans New 52 Red Robin. At number 8, we have the DC Collectibles Arkham Origins Anarchy figure, which is probably another surprise if you follow my channel, because again, I have not reviewed him. I did film it, another one that I filmed. This figure was given to me for my birthday, I believe, by ODC, that's me. Thank you again, buddy. I do really, really like this figure, and I guess you'll eventually see that as well. But it's funny because I don't generally collect the video game figures, because I don't play the video games. That's more Todd's territory. So, but I really love this guy, and you know, whether he ends up on my shelf or Todd's shelf or whatever, one day we'll have them all on one shelf. He's awesome to have. And it's the only version we have of Anarchy for, you know, a Rogue Scalar if you want to put it together. So I just this figure, I would say the only downside is that he has this backpack that is super heavy. I don't know why they didn't make it like hollow on the inside, because it does cause some issues getting him to stand. But otherwise, everything is so cool about this guy. The sculpting they did comes with an awesome accessory. The Molotov cocktail has beautiful paintwork on it. It's slightly clear plastic that it was molded in. It's, you know, it's got like details on the inside. So cool. Fits in his hand. You saw how I had him pose. And then all the sculpt work on the figure itself, the colors they use, the paintwork, you know, like the A for the Anarchy symbol. This pouch is made of rubber, just so, you know, so you're able to move his leg, which also does have a T-joint, might I add, which is really cool. This is like rubbery, so you can move it. He's even got the hood that can come back, so you can see that he's wearing a mask. And the arms are so, I love this, how the arms are made of this, it's like a really, really soft, spongy rubber, the sleeves, but they still bend and everything underneath. So not only do you get all that articulation, but it's hidden because it's covered by like this fabric, well, not fabric, this rubber. I think it's so cool. I love it, and it's really cool to just feel like the spongy, rubbery feeling of it. And then just the details too, and the paint, like the symbol on his backpack, even just the spikes and the paintwork, it's just all really, really well done. So it was one of the figures where I was like, is he gonna be in my top 10? Like, I didn't really kind of expect it, but I was just looking at him sitting there with the rest of the figures, and I was like, this guy's gotta be in my top 10. He just looks so good. I wish he was a little easier to stand, but other than that, I just love this figure. So definitely belong in my top 10. So at number 8, we have the DC Collectibles Arkham Origins Anarchy figure. At number 7, we have another unreviewed figure in Ms. Marvel from the Marvel Legends Infinite Series 3-pack Target exclusive, along with the Radioactive Man and Captain America. Probably another surprise, but this is another one of those figures that, kind of like Nova, is Hasbro listening to Legends fans and giving them a much better figure than already exists in the Marvel Legends line. This Ms. Marvel is so much better than the existing. I think it's technically Warbird, but whatever. This is on the Moonstone body, I think, and is just, it kind of also just represents as a whole the job that Hasbro's doing, making these new bucks that are just way better. And not just that alone, but her face just looks so much better. So I'll show you that, but yeah, right here. Much better looking than the existing figure. And just all around, so much better done. You got the paintwork is pretty decent. It's a little bit messy on mine on one spot, but I think she was just done so well otherwise. And she's another one that kind of like, I like to grab and just kind of, the articulation's really good, so it's, you kind of just want to play and just pose her and get her, like I had her on a flight stand. Like, it's just so much better than what we had. So I don't really even know what to say, and like I haven't filmed this review yet, but I suppose I will do. I'm gonna probably just do a review of this figure alongside the other two that were in the 3-pack, so just as one review, but you know, so I don't want to go into what, you know, my thoughts are when I'm planning to do a review anyway. So here we go. And this is number 7, right? At number 7, we have the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Ms. Marvel figure. At number 6, another Marvel Legends from the Infinite Series. We have from Wave 2 of the Spider-Man Legends, the Anya Corazon Spider-Girl figure. Another, maybe a surprise, but I did review her. She's very simple. Clearly, looking at her, black figure, some white paint on top, you know, plain, no sculpting, but I just love this figure. Again, it's another one that I like to just pick up and play with and pose her in all different, you know, ways. She's got one fist, she got one fun little Spidey hand. Her head is so mobile, despite the fact she has this ponytail. It'd be great if it was articulated, but it just, the way that the Hasbro Marvel Legend heads are articulated, it rarely gets in the way, the ponytail. So I mean, she's a little dusty now, but I do really like this figure. And again, this is Hasbro giving us a new body mold, the teen female body, that is just so, so well done. Like, she's in, let me see, let me pull it back in the Ms. Marvel for a second, just so you can see the scale. You know, it's excellent. Like, she's just a little bit smaller, so she's, her feet are crooked, sorry. She's, you know, a little bit small, about a head smaller, so she looks that much younger just from that alone. And then, you know, like, her chest is also smaller, thank goodness. She doesn't have wild big lady boobs. And she's, you know, she just looks so good. Like, I've wanted to, if I find another one of this cheap, like my plan, I would like to make an ultimate Cloak and Dagger to partner up with my Miles Morales Spider-Man, and this is just a great body for that. So, you know, just the playability, the sculpting, it's not sculpting literally, but the sculpting of this body mold, and the head just came out so great too. So I just really like this figure, and as simple as she is, I knew that she'd be in my top 10. So at number 6 is the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Infinite Series Wave 2 Spider-Girl. We've made it to the top 5! And to start us off, maybe another surprise here, the only non-DC or Marvel figure in the bunch, we have the SH Figuarts Smooth Criminal Style Michael Jackson. And if you didn't know, I am a huge Michael Jackson fan, and when I saw that this figure was coming out, I knew I had to have it. There's been a few Michael Jackson figures in the past, mostly Hot Toys, and they are for obscene prices. So to be able to get this guy at a little bit lower of a price, he was, I think, maybe $45 retail, and I think I used like some credit card rewards and stuff to bring the price down. But I had to grab one. And it's not just for, you know, it's not just this figure that you get a multitude of accessories, a bunch of hands, you get a whole separate like upper body so that you can pose him with his arms in the air. You get you get another pair of feet with that make him do the, you know, the lean, and then the stand that he comes with is a silhouette. It's just so cool. He has another head, and yeah, just overall, what a figure. I haven't reviewed him yet, but I did show him in my recent haul video, so you guys knew it was coming, but I do plan to, because this is such a cool figure, and the hat comes off, you know, and he has 2 different heads, and I'm not sure why. They look very similar, but they're pretty good for a 6-inch figure, and, you know, coming from SH Figuarts, which is, you know, Japanese, I want to say. So the articulation is awesome, and it should be for someone who, you know, is known for dancing all over the place. Great range of motion in pretty much every part of the body. I just love this figure, and it's one of the few figures in my collection that is not DC or Marvel, but I just totally am so glad to have it. So review should be coming in the near future. And until then, my number 5 pick of 2014, the SH Figuarts Smooth Criminal Michael Jackson. And for number 4, we have the DC Collectibles Designer Series Greg Capullo Batman from the New 52. I had a bit of a mixed review about this guy, I think, initially when I did review him, because I had some quality control issues. The ankles are super loose, and they still are. The cape broke when I took it out of the package, and as some people like to point out, that was partially my fault. So, after gluing it back in, all is well. I do just have to tighten up his ankles still, but besides all that, I'm pretty sure in my review I did convey this as well. I love this figure. I don't have a lot of Batman figures, whereas Todd has like 30 something. So this of my Batman figures is my favorite, and which is funny because I'm actually not a huge fan of the Capullo style. I don't. I love the figures, and I think that they're doing a great job with this line. It's one of the best that DC Collectibles is putting out right now, and that's partially because of how much it does look like Greg Capullo's art style. I'm just saying, I guess I'm not a huge fan of this art style. So, saying that he's number 4, he's number 4, right? Yeah, number 4 in my list, it does mean a lot. I love this figure. I love the cape. I mean, just first, like, I love the, they're trying with the articulation, they really are. He's got an ab crunch. I don't like that they have the pins showing, but other than that, you know, he's got, it's there. He's got, you know, almost the you know, DCUC or better articulation, actually, with the double knees and the ankle, like, rotation and everything. So, and of course, he's sculpted beautifully. Like, it's DC Collectibles. It's really, there's rarely a letdown with DC Collectible sculpting. So, you got the contrast of the flats and the glossy blacks, there's a little bit of shading in the belt, the panel lines are all sculpted, and the face looks just like the Greg Capullo art. So, they really did a great job with this guy, other than some QC issues that I think a few other people have also had loose ankles. You can see I'm trying to make him stand, and he just doesn't want to keep those ankles still. But yeah, so definitely worth putting in my top 10 and top 5 even. So at number 4, we have the DC Collectibles Greg Capullo Batman. At number 3, we have the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Winter Soldier Wave 1, I think. Sort of stealth suit or Commander Rogers, however you like to put it, Captain America figure. And it's funny that he ends up in my top 3, considering I'm not huge on movie figures, but I just love this figure, and I originally only bought him because I really wanted this head sculpt. I wanted the Steve Rogers head because I had missed out on the, what was it? Oh, was that one Commander Rogers? The one that had this head, which I now have because it came in the 3-pack. Granted, I still don't really like this head. I prefer this one. So, but I ended up getting the figure and loving it. Like, they did such an awesome job with the sculpting, and I love this shield with the actual straps, as hard as it is to get on and off, and even just the you know, the other head with the actual mask and everything, which I don't know where it is at the moment, so I kept him with this one. He's got the interchangeable hands. He's just got so many good details, like, even, like, you know, his name on his suit, got the shield symbol. You know, all of this is sculpted, even just like pockets and lines, and the boots are nice, and even just the body alone, people are using it for, I saw somebody use this for a Daredevil custom that looked awesome. I've seen people use it for a lot of other ones, but that one in particular stuck out of my head. The head is so, like, it's very generic, and it looks a little bit like Chris Evans, but not really, so it actually works in a multitude of ways. I just think it's an excellent Captain America head. Unfortunately, it's a little bit on the smaller side, so it doesn't really fit where, like, this guy's head would, but, you know, whatever. I just, and again, this is a figure that I filmed the review of and then never put it up on my channel, so it will come eventually, I suppose. Even though this is just kind of so far down the line now, I don't know if it's worth it, but I do love this figure, and yeah, but think that's about all I have to say about it. So, at number 3 for 2014, we have the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Winter Soldier Captain America. At number 2, and you might say I'm cheating, and I kinda sorta am, is the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Spider-Man Wave, Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man, and Superior Spider-Man. And the only reason I have them both at number 2 is because I didn't want both figures, who are very similar, to be taking up 2 spots on my top 10. I was originally going to just include one, and when I was trying to decide between them, I was going to pick this one just because he edged out in sculpting and posability, but I just couldn't not mention this guy. I do love both of these figures so much. The playability of them is amazing. I really enjoyed the Superior Spider-Man arc in the comics, so this guy had a special place for me. And this guy, for a movie figure, blew me away. So, you know, I just had to include both of them. But we'll say goodbye to Superior Spider-Man and just look at one for now. I love the fact that these guys both made me want to just pick the figures up and play with them all the time. Just the amount of movement in both of them, but yeah, a little bit more so this guy. I had them, you know, like upside down like that one, hanging from lamps in my room and like shooting out little, you know, twist tie webs, and I love these guys. They are just they kind of made me see like, wow, Hasbro's really stepping it up. And I don't know, maybe not. I feel like some people don't necessarily agree with that, and they, you know, they have been some misses by Hasbro recently in these waves. Like every now and then, one of the figures won't be so hot, but overall, they're really trying, and I'm so looking forward to the next wave of Spider-Man Legends with the new comic style Spider-Man and MC2 Spider-Girl, and just so many good ones coming, and you know. As exciting as it is to get a new comic styled Spider-Man, this guy was doing the job for a lot of people in the meantime, with you know, people who couldn't afford the McFarlane Spider-Man or didn't have, you know, Fearsome Foes or Snapshot Spider-Man or whatever, because this guy looks so close to a comic styled Spider-Man now with the new design, despite, you know, slight differences in the spider symbol and whatnot. But yeah, these guys, how could you not want to pick it up and just play? And that's what made me put them into this lineup so high up, even though they're, you know, maybe not the most brilliant pieces of plastic in the world. They're fun and they look awesome. So at number 2 of my top 10 of 2014, we've got the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Spider Guys. We've finally reached number 1 of 2014. Who will it be? Who will it be? Can I get a drum roll? At number 1 of my favorite action figures of 2014, a little bit of surprise to me, maybe a surprise to you. Ooh. The DC Collectibles Red Hood and the Outlaws New 52 styled Arsenal figure. When I laid out all my figures and I looked at them, this guy was the only one at first that I was like, bam, he's got to be in this lineup. Like, no question. And it's so bizarre because he's not, you know, like my number 1 favorite character, or like, you know, they have the best articulation and the most playability, which I just said for a few others is important. But they just did such a good job on this figure, and being, you know, in that Red Hood and the Outlaws wave with hello, Red Hood, a highly anticipated figure who didn't make my list. It's surprising that this guy is number 1. So why? Well, look at him. I mean, just the combination of, you know, sculpting that came out really good, you know, like everything, the underside of his gauntlets, like the belt, the quivers, just the lines on his chest, You know, the fact that they used nice rubber material so that he can still move his leg, quiver in the back. You know, I know you can't take the arrows out, and there's no slot for an arrow, and there's no, you know, but you can't put an arrow, like, you can try, I guess, but I, even with his downsides, like, I just think this figure looks so awesome. And I remember in my original review I had complained about his face, and I still think it's pretty goofy looking, but I mean, can you get past this and say he's not a really cool figure? I don't think so. I think he is a really awesome, and you know, his tattoos are painted like you know, well, I mean, whatever, they must be like little like decoupage or something, whatever you want to call it. They just look so cool. The wrinkles in his pants, boots are sculpted really well. Combination of flat red and metallic red, light red and dark red, and again metallic. It's just the shades of the paint, the shading in the paint. It just, I don't know. I'm just so like pleased looking back at this figure now, that I had to make him number one. I'm just so confident in my appreciation for this figure that you know, not only was he going to make the list, he was going to be number one. So, even with a few downfalls, I mean, which figure on the list didn't have downfalls, you know? Nothing's 100% perfect. He had to be it. So, I guess that's it, guys. My number one choice is the DC Collectibles New 52 Red Hood and the Outlaws Arsenal. So, we've reached the end. Let's pull them all together. And there we have it, the class of 2014, my top 10 action figures. That display took quite a while with a few fall downs. So I'm really, like, I don't know, I'm pleased with my choices and also surprised too. So let me know what you think, and share with me your top 10 action figures of 2014, or even your top 10 collectibles if you do statues, if you do, you know, anything else. If you've made a video and I haven't watched it, feel free to leave a link. It's always fun to see what everybody liked and didn't in, you know, the same year. I know my picks are quite a bit different than the couple that I have watched. I've watched Rob's Rogues and I've watched ODC That's Me, and I you know, there's a couple picks in common from both, but otherwise it's been very different, and so it's always fun. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you one more time to everybody watching my channel, and my Q&A will be coming, and maybe I'll do something special for my 1,000 subscriber, if that happens, you know, if a few people hit that subscribe button, if I am so lucky, and you know, just more reviews and stuff coming at you, and I may do, you know, an update in the future, in the near future, what I'm thinking for 2015 for my channel, but I did that last year, and I don't know if much came to fruition, so we'll see about that. But I do have some things in my mind, and hopefully this year I'll make them happen. But either way, thank you so much, guys, again, for sticking around, and hope you like my top 10, and let me know what yours is and what you think. See you in my next video, guys.